Hey friends, welcome to the Savvy Cast. This is Jamie, and whether you are listening to the podcast or watching on YouTube, I just want to thank you for taking time to be here. Today, I'm doing a solo episode, and I'm going to do a Trader Joe's faves for the summer. As you know, if you have a TJ's where you live, they are constantly coming out with new products. Some of these are not necessarily new, but they're new to you possibly. I don't think I've mentioned any of these on my previous faves. So I'm just going to share these. They're things that I love and use. I'm going to have one thing at the end that I don't like. So that will bring up the end of the episode. But I'm going to start by the way my store is laid out. So the first thing that you come to in my store is the produce. You pass the flowers and then you've got all the fresh produce. So here's some things that I always grab. I may have mentioned this previously, but this is the Mirepoix, the chopped vegetable mix. It's celery, onions, and carrots. And this is fabulous for a time saver if you want to throw together chicken noodle soup, chicken and rice soup. I make a lentil soup with this. And on that same note, in the produce section, these steamed lentils at Trader Joe's are fabulous with the Mirepoix and this soup. Now, I've seen this version of soup at grocery stores. It's organic tomato and roasted red pepper soup. So you can get this kind of soup at any grocery. And then lentils and the Mirepoix, the recipe is on the blog. It is a fabulous Mediterranean soup, and I just always try to keep that Mirepoix on hand, and the lentils. I also love their shelled edamame, and I love to have these. They're just packaged like this. Just love to be able to sprinkle some of these on salads. It's so easy, and they're shelled and they're ready to go. You can, of course, heat them up, but they're great to have on hand. Okay, this is something that I've fallen in love with, and my daughter, I actually ran into her one day at Trader Joe's, and she said, "Mom, you've got to get this." And I sent her back because I was in line. I sent her back to get this for me, and Zane and I love it. It's the Trader Joe's Southwestern chopped salad. It's bagged, and it's got green cabbage, romaine, Cojita cheese, toasted pepitas, tortilla strips, green onions, cilantro, and a spicy Southwest avocado dressing. Love this. And what my daughter told me to do with it is to saute this spicy jalapeno chicken sausage. This is the Trader Joe's brand. I feel like you might be able to find this somewhere else, or any good chicken sausage that's got some kick to it. But basically, all I do is I cut this into coins and I saute it in a little bit of EVO because it doesn't have much fat because it's chicken sausage. And I get it golden and crispy. And I just assemble this salad with all of the ingredients, all the packets of the pepitas, and then I top it with these sauteed chicken sausage coins, and we're good to go. Now, I like the dressing that is in this, but if you want to use ranch or an avocado ranch, this is just an avocado dressing, and it's super good, super easy, and it is very yummy. Okay, also this Cruciferous Crunch, and I think you can get this possibly at Costco, but it's kale, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, green cabbage, and red cabbage. I like to massage this with a combination of creamy Ken Steakhouse Caesar and vinegar, the vinegar Steakhouse Caesar Ken's. Both are Ken Steakhouse. One's creamy, one's not. I like to mix those and massage this in, add some craisins. Anything you do with this is great. You can saute it in a skillet and just serve it as a side, but it's just really, really healthy and yummy. And it's got great crunch. Also, okay, y'all, this has become one of my favorite things. They are the Petite Carrots of many colors. Now, if you can see, if you're on YouTube, you can see they're just lovely. They're petite, but they're whole. They have the little stem on the end. These are not only beautiful and delicious, I have a way that I prepare them that could not be easier. My friend Deborah and I just did some meals for some people at our serve day, and she cooked some London broil, and I have a London broil recipe on the blog, and basically she and I do it the same way, but that's just a very, very good roast. If you cook it right, it doesn't have much fat at all. So you've got to know how to cook it where it will be fall apart tender. But she did that and I did the sides. So I got these Petite Carrots of many colors, and this is how I did it. And this will eventually get on the blog, but my podcast people get things before they're put on the blog because it takes a lot to put something out, write it up, and do all that. So basically, I opened the package, put it into a bowl, and I liberally put my favorite EVOO. I think I put some Cola Vita Greek. There's several that I like that are good, but I generously drizzled EVOO. Then I sprinkled some ranch dressing. Now you can get the ranch dressing seasoning in a large spice canister. I didn't use the envelope. You could use that because I think it's the same, but I sprinkled that, and then I did some kosher salt and pepper, and I had fresh parsley on hand. So I chopped a handful of fresh parsley, and I put that on a big baking sheet where everything was spread out. 400, I think I knocked it down to 400. I typically do 425, but because these are very robust and I didn't want to overcook them, so I did 400, and I turned them halfway. I just jiggled the baking sheet. And when I tell you, they were beautiful. They were golden on certain parts. They were beginning to caramelize. The parsley added just such a beautiful color and texture. They were absolutely delicious, and they were so pretty to put next to a roast, along with what I'm going to also share with you that I got at Trader Joe's. But these are wonderful. This big container of basil and then this big thing of cilantro, they're both in the produce. This is more than you would get off of, when you buy the little basil plants at the grocery store for like $3 or $4. This is probably the equivalent of 3 or 4 of those, and it's ready to go. And I think this was maybe $3. And then this cilantro is already clean and fresh, and it's in a pouch. I have decided I'm not buying the plants anymore that you have to put out in the soil, because mine always end up dying. The basil and the cilantro at Trader Joe's does all the work for you, and it's a great price. Okay, now I'm coming to just one thing in dairy, and I'm sure I've mentioned this before because this is an absolute staple for me, but their burrata is fabulous, and Trader Joe's is one place I can always count on finding burrata. It is not at every grocery store. I very rarely see it at Publix, but this is absolutely wonderful on top of any way that you would use mozzarella. This is mozzarella 10 times better. It's actually fresh mozzarella cheese filled with cream, but I like to put it on top of meatballs or melt it on top of a pizza. It's fabulous. Okay, now we're coming to the frozen. If you ever see these French extra fine French green beans, haricot verts, you need to get them. They sell out and they don't always have them, but look how tiny. My YouTube people, I don't know if you can see, they are extra thin. They're just beautiful. This is a 24-ounce bag that's 1 pound and 8 ounces. And I want to tell you how I cook these. The same day that my friend and I cooked for some people, took some meals, along with the baby carrots, I did these French green beans. I melted a pat of butter and put some extra virgin olive oil in a skillet. And then I put these, and then I made sure I had a skillet that had a lid. And for the first 5 minutes or so, I cooked them in that skillet with the lid on, so that it steamed them, and then it got the frozenness off, and then they became tender. So then I tossed them. I added some kosher salt and pepper, and then I added a garlic teriyaki sauce. It just has heavy, heavy garlic. And I tossed that in, and after the 5-minute steam, just lifted the lid, tossed the green beans, the extra thin green beans really, really well in the teriyaki or the soy. And I didn't add any more salt because you really don't need to add much salt because the soy is so salty. And let them just cook down. I like mine to cook down pretty substantially. Some people like them to be more firm and crisp, but however you like them, just get these with those seasonings, cook to your desired consistency. They're fabulous. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm jumping out of the frozen aisle to show you my new favorite pork tenderloin. It's Butcher Shop, Trader Joe's Butcher Shop, boneless pork tenderloin. Now, the reason I like these is because they're very, very thin. I don't like big pork tenderloins. One reason, I don't like anything. I like my meat cooked through, and these are thin, and it doesn't take long to cook this the way I like it. If I get the fat ones, I have to cook them so long to make the insides what we like that the outside typically burns. Now, I make the coffee encrusted pork tenderloin by my friend Wine and Dine with Jeff McCarovich. He's Wine and Dine with Jeff on YouTube and Instagram. I made last week for the first time with a Trader Joe's pork tenderloin. I made his coffee encrusted pork tenderloin. Zane and I both think it's the best pork tenderloin we have ever had. Now, Jeff is a fine cook. He's very cultured and he's a culinary chef. He does his where the internal temp, it's still a little pink, and his presentation is beautiful. I cook mine more because of just our preference. But anyway, if you see one of these, get it. And I will link to Jeff's coffee encrusted pork tenderloin recipe. I brought that up right after the green beans because Jeff recommends cooking these extra fine green beans in the sauce that is left over after you saute the coffee encrusted pork tenderloin. To make that tenderloin, the first thing you do is you melt butter and EVOO, and then you saute the coffee encrusted pork tenderloin in the butter and the EVOO, and it releases this fabulous, rich, smoky flavor that mixes in with the butter and the oil. And when you're done and searing the pork tenderloin, then you either move it to a pellet grill or an oven to finish cooking. And after that, Jeff recommended putting these green beans in that sauce and cooking them that way. So that is another way. I haven't done that because I didn't have these on hand when I made his tenderloin, but y'all, it sounds fabulous. Okay, just two more things in the freezer aisle. I may have mentioned this before, but this Trader Joe's Mexican style roasted corn with Cojita cheese, it is so easy and it's so fabulous. I look at this as Mexican corn just with no stick, and it's taken off the cob. You don't have to gnaw on a cob. This is just great Mexican corn. It has great flavor. The cheese is fresh. We love this. And anytime I do Mexican, I like to serve this along with it. You basically just put it in a pan. You can microwave it or on the stovetop. Okay. They have several gnocchi products at TJ's. They have the sweet potato gnocchi, which I do like. I do love their cauliflower gnocchi. Now, this is a little bit of a bear to get crispy, but the first thing I do is I pan saute it, and I get it as crispy as I can in the EVOO, and I always add just a little butter. And then if it doesn't crisp up like I like it in the skillet, then I transfer it to my air fryer and then just keep tossing it until it gets to the right consistency. But I will say, this does need to be golden and crisp for it to really be the way you would want it to be. Otherwise, it's mushy and it's not that flavorful. So if you can get this crispy, their cauliflower gnocchi is great. Okay, so I'm at the jars. Feel like I may have mentioned this in a previous one, but the Trader Joe's hot and sweet jalapenos. These are fabulous. These are almost useful for anything that you would use either a pickle or a jalapeno for. They have zing, zest, tang, a little bit of heat. They are absolutely great. I have a redneck charcuterie on the blog where you have a saltine and you put some pimento and cheese and you put a dill pickle and then you put a Quinoa sausage or a piece of sausage that you've grilled. You put that together. This would be great on that, served on the side. These are great on hot dogs. I have a tuna salad, zesty tuna salad, and a chicken salad on the blog that I put these on. These would be great on a pizza. These are outstanding. And I've seen candied jalapenos in the grocery, but I haven't seen hot sweet. So if you like that kind of thing, those are really good. Okay. Now this, I believe you can get elsewhere, but it's soy vey, very, very teriyaki. I'm almost sure you can get this at Publix. This is a one and done teriyaki. It is, I will never make a homemade teriyaki sauce. This is perfection. And it's simple, real ingredients, homemade taste. There's nothing, it's just like you made it at home. It just has garlic, ginger, sesame seeds, soy sauce, and onion. That is it. I put this over chicken thighs on my pellet grill, and on 400, I cook until the chicken thighs are 165 at least. I usually go a little over, and I put this on while they're cooking. And then if they need more at the end, I put some at the end, and then I'll put them under the burner when the thighs are fully cooked, the broiler, sorry. And then I will put them either under the broiler, or I'll use my kitchen torch to caramelize the soy that I put on top. Absolutely fabulous teriyaki chicken thighs. You could do it with chicken tenders if you like white meat. But anyway, great, great, great. Okay, now we always get to snacks. These quinoa and black bean infused tortilla chips, they're made with stone ground white corn, red quinoa, and black beans. These are fabulous. Now, I did not have it to share with you, those of you who are watching, because we ate it all, I believe 2 nights ago. But these black bean and quinoa chips, along with Trader Joe's black Chipotle black bean dip, it's over where the chips are and where the salsa is. It is a match made in heaven. Trader Joe's Chipotle black bean dip. It's smoky. It's got that Chipotle flavor, and these are hearty, and they've got just a great flavor, and they're sturdy, and you can just dip your black bean. Fabulous. This would be a great thing to put out when you have guests. Okay, and then I want to show you this. These are new. Strawberry and jalapeno crisps. These are really, really good. Now, it says that they are a crisp, sweet, and spicy cracker to complement cheese, spreads, dips, and toppings. Now, I have just been eating these out of hand. I'm going to show you what they look like. They look like this similar cracker that has the fig in it, but you can see the strawberry. Now, they are very, very yummy, but they have a definite kick. Put some Boursin cheese on them that had garlic and herb, and it did not go together. I would serve this with a goat cheese, maybe covered in the blueberries. Trader Joe's has a blueberry covered goat cheese with vanilla. They sometimes have it in cranberry, but this has a very jalapeno aftertaste, and it's a little bit hot. So get a sweet goat cheese or some kind of soft cheese that will not fight with the flavor. So really do like these. Let me say this. Here's one thing I love, and you can see I nibble at this all throughout the week. The organic Trader Joe's dark chocolate, 73% cocoa, super dark. I did not always love dark chocolate. It is, to me, almost an acquired taste. But if you're really trying to have healthier things to satisfy your sweet tooth, I just recommend this. Even though it's 73%, it really is tasty, in my opinion. And I like to put peanut butter and sometimes almond butter, but just a little bit really does satisfy that sweet tooth. My sweet friend loves these, and she put them on her Instagram. So I immediately bought them. but I do not like them at all. But it's the Trader Joe's popcorn in a pickle bagged popcorn. This, and it's healthy popcorn, sunflower oil, and seasoning. Anyway, I just don't think the flavor goes with popcorn. Cheese goes with popcorn, caramel goes with popcorn, but when I tasted this, I was like, I don't like this. So I had a handful and I couldn't finish it. So I hope all of this was helpful, and Trader Joe's always comes out with new and great things. I would love to hear from those of you who have a TJ's, and when there are great things that come out, please let me know. Email me, jamie@familysavvy.com. If there are things that are just like a big fail, email me about those too. I love hearing from you all. So many of you share such helpful information with me, and I always like to pass it along to the listeners and watchers when you share it with me. I appreciate you all, and that's it for today. And I do hope that I will see you next week. And until then, be blessed and stay savvy.